everything changes.
Ford have been taking absolute liberties with their historical product names recently, in case you hadn't noticed. The Ford Mustang has become an electric SUV. The Ford Kuga sports car has become, yep, an SUV. And now the Ford Puma has become this. What exactly is it? Well, that should be obvious. It's yet another SUV, this time a relatively small one for 20 grand, based on the Fiesta platform. Don't look at me. If you lot bought sports cars, they'd make sports cars. Most of us out there are buying SUVs, which means manufacturers are gonna keep making them. Still, at least the Puma is decent looking. I mean, it's nothing like an actual Puma. It looks more like a baby hippo, really. But, controversial opinion, it does actually look quite similar to the original Puma. I mean, look at the headlights. Look at the upper and lower grille. It's all in there. It's a natural evolution. Anyone remembering the original Puma as a proper sports car might be remembering them through rose-tinted memories. Whatever you think of that comparison, there's no denying that this new car has some cool design details. The distinctive day-running lights, the sporty, almost coupe-like roofline, and the three-dimensional effect rear lights are all very cool. But nothing on this car is quite as cool as the boot. Yeah, I know I might sound like the most boring person in the world right now, but trust me, it's the best bit. First and foremost, it has a powered tailgate, which is quite rare on a car in this category. And secondly, it's massive, 468 litres, which is bigger than you get in a Ford Focus. How do you get a boot this big in a car this small? Well, with a hidden space underneath the boot floor. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to show you one of the greatest automotive innovations of the 21st century, the Ford Megabox. Under the height adjustable floor is a special compartment that adds an extra 80 litres of space. It lets you carry taller items, golf clubs, potted plants, plus an assortment of luggage that might not otherwise fit. And because it has a hole in the floor for easy draining, you can carry dirty items like boots, hose them down, and then pull the plug. You can even get creative. Forget just carrying golf clubs, why not have an actual game of miniature golf in the boot? Then, when you're done, you can load up your clubs and off you drive. Plus, check this out, right? The Puma's got cup holders and decent sized door pockets, but you know the best place for drinks? The Megabox. Watch this. Ice. You can get your beers, your spirits, your wines. Obviously, I'm not drinking alcohol, I'm the designated driver, but all of it goes right in there. Plus, most decent sized family cars will let you carry dogs and other pets, right? But name me one other family car that lets you carry aquatic life. Check this out. Goldfish. In you go. Bosh. Name me one other car that lets you do that. I'll wait. Exactly. So we've seen what the Puma is like on the outside. What's it like on the inside? It's actually a really practical car despite the fact that it's based on the small Fiesta. Now, I'm 5'11" and this seat is of course adjusted for me, but I've hopped in the back of this car in this setup and there's plenty of legroom and plenty of headroom. They've made really good use of the space in the Puma. On top of that, you get loads and loads of space in the door pockets for your knickknacks and your bits and bobs. They make really good use of space in this car. I like it. In terms of the interior design, well, there's not a lot to write home about really, but they've done a pretty decent job. I really like the carbon fiber effect around the air vents and the soft squishy material on the steering wheel, which gives it a nice premium feel. In terms of the general layout of all the controls, well, it's actually quite straightforward. There's loads of buttons on the steering wheel, which can actually feel a little bit complicated initially, but you do get used to it. And the controls on the central touchscreen are pretty simple and straightforward. It can feel a little bit clunky at first, but the good news is that the car comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so you can just stick with that. The Puma comes in 3 trim levels: Titanium, ST Line and ST Line X. The entry-level Titanium is probably not the most attractive version because of the black rubber wheel arches. The ST Line cars are body-coloured, but Titanium cars do have some decent kit. 17-inch alloys, cruise control, wireless charging, auto headlights and wipers, an 8-inch infotainment touchscreen, CarPlay, Android Auto, electronic climate control, massaging seats, and all for only £20,500. For £1,000 more, you get the better looking ST Line, which adds a sporty body kit but loses electronic climate control and massaging seats. but you do get nicer alloys and a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster. If you're going to spend extra money though, get the ST Line X, which gives you all the sporty stuff in the ST line, the body kit, the wheels, plus all the nice tech stuff in the titanium, massaging seats, electronic climate control, for only $2 more. Now, some of you might be wondering what this car's like to drive, and the answer is that it's really lovely. It's based on the Fiesta, which itself is a great little car to drive, and this thing inherits a lot of that car's mannerisms. There's a really nice balance to it. It flows really nicely through the corners. There's loads of grip. And although the body roll maybe is a little bit too much, you can actually work with it. And in the corners, it settles down and you can actually trust it through the bends. It's really rewarding, really engaging, and actually ultimately really fun. Right, I'm gonna send it into this bend. Yes. Those poor goldfish, sorry. One of the best things about the Puma is probably the engine. Power comes from 3 different configurations, all of which use Ford's 1-litre EcoBoost engine. The basic model makes 125 horsepower and 179 Nm of torque, or you can buy one of 2 hybrid models. One hybrid version uses a belt-driven integrated starter generator in place of an electric motor to provide more torque, 200 Nm, although no extra power, while the other version has more power and torque, 155 horsepower and 220 Nm. This happens to be the 155 horsepower version, and while it might not sound particularly exciting, it's actually a really good powertrain. The torque delivery is a lot of fun, and there's definitely enough grunt if you want to engage in a little bit of overtaking, or if you want to have fun in a little traffic light Grand Prix. Do you know what? It's just a happy little engine. By itself, it's pretty gutless, but with the addition of the mild hybrid technology, it just makes all the difference. When you're not driving flat out and you want to relax, you can use some of the Puma's solid range of driver assistance features. It has some great tech, including adaptive cruise, stop and go, traffic light recognition, and lane centering, which keeps you in the middle of your lane rather than at the edges as you drive. Fuel economy is good too, at around 43 miles per gallon. Okay, ultimately it is yet another small SUV, and there really is no shortage of those. But where this car's rivals fall down is in the fact that they tick boxes, of course, but they ultimately feel a little bit soulless, a bit lacking in character, a bit lacking in fun. The Puma is different. It does everything you'd expect from a small SUV. It's spacious, it's practical, it has decent tech, but it also has lots of innovations that make it really usable day to day. More importantly than all of that though, is the fact that when you drive one, it puts a big smile on your face. Do you know what? I am genuinely impressed with the new Puma. Before I drove it, I was expecting a car that was basically Ford's attempt to profiteer off a historic badge and churn out yet another boring SUV. But having driven it, it's actually a cracking little car, and one that I would definitely consider buying myself. It might not be the Puma sports car some of us remember and love, but this new model is, in so many ways, a better, more usable, and more logical car than the original.